Hello everyone, I'm Brett McCrae here with your Farm and Ranch News, and this is Northern Ag TV. Well, the BLM last week announced strengthened protections for sage grouse on federally managed public lands. On Friday, the Bureau of Land Management released its final environmental impact statement, amending 77 resource management plans around the country in sage grouse habitat areas. The BLM says that new sage grouse management strategies build on other efforts from the Biden-Harris administration to strengthen protection for sagebrush habitat that also include the Public Lands Rule and the Western Solar Plan. Groups representing public lands ranchers have been critical of these initiatives and their consequences for rural communities. The Montana Stock Growers Association is speaking out against recommendations from the Dietary Guidelines Advisory Committee that suggest reducing beef consumption in American diets and replacing it with protein from plant sources. The Dietary Guidelines Advisory Council is tasked with making recommendations to USDA and the Department of Health and Human Services as those agencies work to formulate the dietary guidelines for Americans through 2030. The council has suggested that in those guidelines, which inform federal nutrition standards, Americans should replace beef in their diets with protein from plants. Montana Stock Growers is joining other livestock groups speaking out against the recommendations and has written letters to congressional leaders addressing their concerns. MSGA emphasizes that their concern is with the guidelines' recommendation to reduce beef consumption, highlighting that beef is a protein rich in essential nutrients and plays a key role in healthy diets. And there's already a pretty sizable list and a lot of speculation around who President-elect Donald Trump will choose to lead the USDA's as the next Secretary of Agriculture in January 2025. A couple examples of some of the potential egg secretaries include Texas Egg Commissioner Sid Miller, former ambassador and Indiana farmer Kip Tom, Ted McKinney, the CEO of the National Agricultural State Departments of Agriculture, and North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum, whose term expires in December. We're going to find out who will lead USDA in the coming months, or maybe even right before the inauguration. This is Northern Ag TV, and I'm back in 30 seconds with your markets.
From the beginning, we've worked closely with farmers. BNSF's ties to the agricultural community go back 175 years. Together, we've innovated to make the U.S. agriculture supply chain one of the most efficient and productive in the world. Our strong relationship powers BNSF still today and helps us move the nation like no one else can. At BNSF, we move the nation for you.
Cattle markets trended lower on the first trading session of the week on Monday, but turned it around to finish higher. The cash cattle trade was substantially lower compared to the previous week last week, and boxed beef has trended lower for about an entire week as well, which could be leading to some demand-related concerns from the market. Cash cattle trade last week about $3 lower, live deals from $185 to $188, and the dress basis from $290 to $298, averaging $291. On Friday in St. Onge, most feeder cattle were $4 to $8 back. Heavy 4-weight steer calves from $329 to $337. Light 5-weights from $317 to $325, and heavy 5-weights from $305 to $313. Light 4-weight heifers from $316 to $324, and the light 5-weight heifers from $286 to $294. At the sheep yards down the road in Newell, feeder lambs sharply higher. Those feeder lambs from 70 to 79 pounds sold from $195 to $213. Not a lot of trade volume on Monday, but grain markets trended lower to start the week. Friday's World Egg Supply and Demand Estimates report was not a huge factor for wheat markets, but still slightly bearish with higher U.S. ending stocks and world stocks coming in above trader expectations. Weather is also bearish with wetter conditions in the forecast having the potential to improve winter wheat's poor start. I'm Brett McCrae, and this is Northern Ag TV.